Peace. I know it's probably not all that deep for a lot of y'all, but as a professor of hip hop, it's kind of my job to talk about things like this Super Bowl performance. It seems like folks want either wholesale condemnation or approval. Our imaginations and critical thinking seem to have been molded and fixed into the shape of internet discourse. I think that it was a subversive performance with layered intentions that lend themselves to many interpretations and meanings. But it was also a Super Bowl halftime show, and the NFL is the NFL. The U.S. is the U.S., and people can easily be led to believe that U.S., no matter how you mean it, spells us and interpret they not like us as an anthem in which U.S. and us are synonyms. On a stage like that, it can be read as a source of national pride or used as a bad ID that gives admission to whoever would like to identify as the us on the other side of the they. So in this book that I just finished writing, there's a chapter about Kendrick in which I argue that Good Kid, Mad City is like an instruction manual for the rap game. I'm reading this book on video games by Jan Homovic called Intervention, in which he describes a concept that he calls pervasive life. He says, what we believed previously as a boundary between the real and the virtual is an illusion we constructed in order to privilege the material or real world over an immaterial or virtual world. This split manifests itself in countless ways, among them the entrenched but increasingly blurred boundary between play and work, end quote. Homovic says we can consider the term virtual as blended mixed reality. So if we believe the rap world to also be virtual or a kind of blended mixed reality, then I argue that many rappers have embraced the rap game as pervasive life, regardless of whether they called it that or not. The game is seldom a matter of life and death, but it sometimes can be. There are reasons we all know names of rappers whose deaths in some part are commonly attributed to their careers as rap artists. As a result of their rap careers, it's narrated, their real lives ended. It can be hard to distinguish between the two. We often remember the notable players because their loss was also our loss. Some started off winning or showed promise before going bust or bankrupt. Others were killed or died. The stories of less notable players whose turns were over before having a full opportunity to even learn how to play are lost to history. The game itself has adapted. Over time, it's changed to such a degree that the current version can look completely different than previous iterations. Kendrick Lamar seems to understand the rap game, or that rap is a game, as good as anyone who has ever played it. In the book, when I talk about Good Kid, Mad City, which is subtitled a short film by Kendrick Lamar, it's in the context of the movies it references, directly and indirectly, like Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society, Poetic Justice, and South Central. Young, black, mostly males living in economically strained and socially marginalized circumstances that offer limited choices are led to even more dire circumstances while trying to escape. These worlds are filled with violence, camaraderie, addiction, love, loss, coming of age, death, turmoil, anger, and so much more. The interpersonal relationships that go beyond the surface are often uncomplicated. Romantic relationships exemplify American misogyny, and platonic relationships are either love-filled, hate-filled, or go from one to the other, right? This year's Super Bowl performance stages the game at halftime of America's most watched concert. Samuel L. Jackson portrays Uncle Sam. I guess we can view him as a non-player character. At the end of the interlude called For Free on To Pimp a Butterfly, the speaker says she's going to get her Uncle Sam to fuck him up. All of this is what I talked about for my teaching demonstration before I was hired here at the University of Virginia. And I ended with how Kendrick's leaked verse on Control and everything that followed might be evidence of how good the good kid has gotten at the rap game. Since then, he's drawn J. Cole and Drake into the story, which might make observers view the illuminated game over sign at the end of the Super Bowl halftime performance like a knockout punch and a global battle royale like the one Ralph Ellison writes about in Invisible Man. I think that that's also a story about subversion that shares a whole lot of these things. But I don't know. What do I know? I'm just a professor of hip hop out here trying to earn my keep by thinking about rap. So I hope somebody finds this little bit of context helpful. Peace. Until next time.